What's going on, my dollar bills? D-Money here, and today I have another story for you. So this takes back to before I met Eminem and before YouTube was a thing. So this was back in middle school. For some reason I can't remember what grade I was in, but I do remember almost everything else. So this story is about the time I got a whole section in a magazine just devoted to me. Like I said, this takes back in middle school. My school was doing the science fair project. Apparently, I'm recently finding out that not everyone in America does the science fair project, and it bugs me knowing that, because I did not like the science fair or science projects, making them stuff. But this year, or that year that my science project put me in a magazine, that I liked. So I started thinking, and I got my parents to help me one year, or that year, and we came up with a idea for me to do a solar project. So I had my parents help me out with this. My mom helped me with the board and the writing and stuff, and then I would design it, and then my dad would just get this board out. He had a solar panel, and we hooked it up to a battery, a light, and we got one of my toy helicopters. We basically chopped everything off except for the tail fin and made a windmill, but we couldn't attach it to the solar panel. But we had it there for show, and we basically just called that good. We had a switch for it. Everything looked great. I took it to school one day, and everyone was around it, and we were told by the teachers not to touch everyone's projects. And this is a really funny part. I remember one kid coming up to me saying, hey, this other kid, he touched your project. He touched the light bulb. Or was it the windmill? But either way, I remember getting so frustrated. I stormed out of my seat. I went to the teacher, and I basically tattletaled on the kid, because that was a project I really liked. Maybe a week later, I get called out of one of my classes by the principal, and I'm told by that person that I am in sort of finale. I was basically told that my project won out of the school, sorta, but now I'm going to be competing in the area of science projects, and I had to go to this town that was maybe a half hour away, and I was given a paper, and immediately I was thinking, oh man, I gotta go home. I gotta give this to my mom so she could take me there today, so that way I could compete and try and win. And so the time comes where school's ended. I get on my bike, and I just start pedaling as fast as I can to my house. I'm right around the corner from my street, and right as I turn on my bike, my tires slip. Oh man. So far I've added some comedy with the kid touching my project. Here's the tragedy. So my tires slip, I fall, I scrape my arm, and I remember for maybe 5 seconds I didn't want to get up. I just lay there and I was like, oh no, my arm, ah. And then this car passing by stops and this lady just yells out the window, "Are you okay?" And I just yell, "Yeah." And that was the point where I just got up, went home. My mom ended up giving me some ice for my arm. I gave her the paper. And here's the worst part. My mom reads the paper and tells me, the contest isn't today. It's at the end of the week. I scraped my arm for nothing, guys. Jeez. So, at the end of the week, me and my mom end up going to the convention, and I remember spending so much time going up and down the aisles just to find my project. And wouldn't you know, I did find it at the end. Like, it was in rows. Here's the entrance. I started here going boom, 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 boom. It was at the very end. So I sort of wasted time. But the time came around to where they were calling up names. And here's the little part I didn't tell you guys about yet. Out of everyone competing with all the science fair projects, my project actually won 3rd place. I got a nice white ribbon, and it was so shiny. I would take it out, but I have no clue where I put it. Another thing is, I also won an award from that town's electric company, and that I thought was pretty cool. They ended up wanting to meet up with me and talk about putting me in their magazine, and I was all for it. I ended up setting a date, or well, my mom did, to where I would go to their building. They take a picture of me with the project. I remember it being in black and white and on a pretty good chunk of the page. Some other facts, though, I wasn't quite happy with, just because it was a bit over-exaggerating, but it was still pretty cool. And also, for those wondering what magazine it was Elmud. It was pretty cool. It got a bit embarrassing once they started reading my board, because at one point I was saying, if you go solar, you won't have to pay your electric bill to the electric company. And I just remember them reading that, and they read it out loud, and I just stood there and said, "Oh, sorry." But yeah, anyways, from the science fair project, or science convention, I remember that there was only 2 other kids from my school that made it in, and I felt pretty accomplished. I won a $25 gift card to Walmart, spent it all that night. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a thumbs up, and tell me if you want to hear some more stories. If you got a certain situation where you were in and wonder if I ever had something like that happen to me, comment down below and I'll try and think of something that has happened to me sort of like that, or something similar. So anyways, guys, rate, comment, subscribe, and sayonara.